Thanks to the support as a channel member, Chris Graves. Here we go then, boys and girls, heading into Tier 6 as champions and a transfer window ahead of us where we have the same budget that we had when we were down in Tier 8. This is going to be fine. Hello and welcome to part 53 of Bourne in the USA. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special off the back of our wonderful season that led to us being champions of the US National League 2, National League Division 2, which means next season we move up into the US National League Division 1. We're just doing a Charlotte check to see how afraid we need to be. Charlotte 2 are in there. Charlotte Eagles are potentially going to be in there. Are there any Charlottes getting relegated? I mean, what a ridiculous question. Like Charlottes can get relegated. Let's just double check. No Charlottes coming down. Checking in on how Charlotte FC Academy are doing. They're up in Tier 5. They're in the playoffs to try and make it into League 2. So effectively the American Football League, which looks like it too has a very generous promotion system. And look at all those academy sides. It's terrifying to see. How many academy sides have we got to put up with next year? Still not a huge number. This should still be a league we're capable of getting out of. In fact, Wolves Academy are the team who won our league last year when we were not a million miles behind them. So there is certainly a possibility that we could go straight through. It'll be tough, but there's definitely a possibility there. I think we've already had our budgets come through. I think we had them come through in the last episode. Yeah, so we don't really have much in the way of extra wage budget or transfer budget or anything like that. So it's going to be another one of those summers where we just have to kind of make some tough decisions about letting some players go and using that to reinvest in players that we might want. Iconic Chapman. Does that mean I'm an icon? I'm an iconic figure. Whoa, hold the phone. Kevin Chapman, club icon. Beautiful stuff. Jorge Hernandez, obviously the only club legend at the moment. I'll join him there soon enough. And then Jackson Hernandez, Stephen Stone and Prince Fletcher, the favourite personnel. Kev the icon. Certainly has a nice little ring to it. We haven't got the season review ready to go. We'll just hit continue a couple of times. If we don't get there, we'll do some time travel and get into the season review. But I think it should be coming up any moment if my experience of playing this game is accurate. Is that nanoleaf thing behind me changing colour today, or is it just solid pink? If it's solid pink, I don't understand why it's gone solid pink. It is. It's just solid pink. How long is it? How many episodes has it been like that for? That's not been deliberate. We'll fix that at some point. Not now. Not in the middle of an episode, Kev. But we'll fix it at some point. There's an interesting thing when it comes to recruiting new staff. And we're able to bring in a few more scouts this summer. We're actually allowed 5 and we've only got 2. We were only allowed 2 previously. But we've already got amongst the best scouting in the league. So we've got the 5th best judging potential, the 6th best judging ability in the league we're in now. We're recruiting for more scouts. And look how good they are. Wow. We've got a 6 for judging player ability. We're having a bit of that. These are the best scouts money can buy in our situation. So this is why our player recruitment is a little bit hit and miss, because we are still semi-pro. I'm not going to sign someone who's already got a club. That just feels like asking to pay compensation. But we're bringing these other 3. But let's take this into account when we look at the sort of players that we're bringing in this summer, that our scouts, that bearing in mind these are upgrades on what we've got now, these scouts are not all that. Right, press are hailing Hernandez, which is all good. Are we really not going to get this season review? One more continue, and then we will time travel to it. Is it going to appear now? No. No idea. We'll wait for it. There we go. Just had to move forward a couple more days, so we now have the official season review. Where signing of the season is Miguel Vazquez in goal, 21 games played. I guess his arrival did coincide with that long unbeaten run that we went on. Him and the new assistant manager, I guess it could be a toss-up between either of them to be signing of the season, although things did take a little bit of a turn as we tried to bottle the run in. Rocha with a decent return of 12 goals from 23 starts is pretty decent for him as well, but he's never going to get past Stone and Hernandez to be a regular starter for us. Solis I expected more from, only a 6.74. Yeah, he's got 12 assists, But the 6.74 shows just how inconsistent he's been over the course of the season. But I can't imagine us finding a better left back. And the only other player who came in, who's played a lot of games, is Gomez, who's in on loan, and realistically, probably, like Rocha, probably both of them going back to Pittsburgh Academy at the end of this season. I can't imagine we're going to keep either of them around unless, I remember now, they were both free. That is a good reason. To keep them in the squad for nothing does make a lot of sense. So we were supposed to hit the playoffs. We got promoted. We're still not coming close to selling out our capacity. 364 is our attendance this year, and Hernandez top scorer with 38 goals. We got an A+ for all of that, as we should have done. Moments to remember, just some quite ridiculous matches. I would have put the back-to-back 5-5s as matches to remember. Back-to-back 5-5 draws. I can't believe didn't happen in a video. We've had no change to our club reputation. It looks like no change to, or all of our money has gone down. So no cup run means prize money's gone down massively. Match day revenue's gone down, presumably because of the cup run. Sponsorship has stayed the same, but apparently that means it's gone down. We only sold 99 shirts. I'd like to think in reality, we're going to sell more shirts than that because, of course, the Bourne shirts are on sale now. Link at the top of the description. They're available to order until the end of May. And you too can get yourself a Jorge Hernandez shirt. Hernandez 9. Be like the Bourne fans. It's the most popular shirt we do. Who is Johnson? I don't know who Johnson is. He's sold the 5th most shirts. Is he like that 8th choice striker that's not played all year? Maybe he is. Does anyone remember Johnson? So this is our team of the year. And we've got Vasquez in goal, a back four of Solis, Brook, Beck Nazarov and Hansen, Gomez and Paulus in midfield, Williams and Huyan out wide, Hernandez and Stone up front. Goal for this summer has got to be an upgrade on Sam Williams on that left-hand side. I'm pretty much happy going with the other 10 as they are. It'd be nice maybe to upgrade on Gomez as well. But we need a better left winger than Sam Williams. But we've been saying that for many years. I won some awards this year, which is very nice. As far as the club awards go, Hernandez winning Player of the Year again, as you'd expect, and Young Player of the Year. Last time he'll be able to win that. He's 23 now. Signing of the season was Vasquez. Goal of the season went to Huyan. Top scorer, most assists, once again, is Hernandez. 39 goals, 26 assists, 21 man of the matches, and an average rating of 8.0. That man is absurd. Is he going to be able to do it in the next tier up? Goodness me, I hope so. No competition awards, but these two records that I think both these two held these records previously and have just extended them. So Sam Williams, most league appearances at 241, unlikely to add to them now, I would suggest. And most league goals for Jorge Hernandez, 137 now in his Bourne career. So this is our all-time best 11. Let's just check in on where some of these previous legends are now. So Kotelyarov is playing for Seacoast United Phantoms down in the Northern Premier League, living in the great city of Seacoast United. Toby Neese, also living in Seacoast United, playing for the Phantoms. Beautiful to see those two reunited. Travis Sullivan is at the San Diego Gauchos, in the league we've just moved up to, and he only played once last year. I wonder if there's a possibility of bringing him back in. Not that we'd necessarily need him, looking at how his rating was playing in that league. We've got Beck Nazarov and Brook, but Sullivan and Brook were always a good partnership before, so it might be worth looking at. Jeff Brook's still in there, of course. Ben Garlick is now retired, living in Seacoast United, probably with those other two lads. What hair! I don't think I've ever seen that haircut in Football Manager before. Ben Garlick, hunk. That's all we've got to say about him. Goncalves is playing for Elm City in the Atlantic National League. Briones is with us, but leaving this summer. He didn't play at all last year. He's lost his spot as all-time appearance holder. I think Diego Briones is done, I'm afraid. Sam Williams, likewise, going to be leaving this summer. And Huyan and Hernandez, we know all about. And Prince Fletcher is another one who has now retired. Let's have a little look through the rest of this, see if there's anything we need to be aware of before we get stuck into the transfers. So Goran Pavlov looking for us to finish mid-table in National League Division 1 next year. I'm not going to argue with him there. Mid-table in a promotion year, always good. I am going to argue with still being there in 5 years' time. We'll allow a 1 year stop-off, and then we're looking to continue moving up these leagues. Sooner or later, we'll turn professional. I don't know what level we turn professional at. Clearly, it's not yet, and he still wants me to repair the club's financial damage as well. What financial damage? I mean, there's the company voluntary agreement. That's got 10 years to run. I don't know what he wants me to do about that. Other than that, there is no financial damage. Job done, Goran. Our team leaders are Huyan, Stephen Stone and Jeff Brook, who should all be here and starting next year, which is awesome. Plans for next year is mid-table, which has pleased everybody, which is always good to see. This guy has appeared on this report again. Do we just go with Dragovan instead of Williams this coming year? He's been out on loan. In fact, it was last year he was on loan at Portland Phoenix. He's just been knocking around the club for the last year. Potentially should have been playing him ahead of Williams for some time. Also got a guy called David Luda. We need to bring some boys up from the under-23s, I think, this summer. That might be job one. We've got Hernandez has made it into the team of the year, which is nice. And we just, well, there you go. I already criticised Solis in the video. We'll criticise him in game as well. So, job now is scouting and trials and trying to improve on what we've got. We've got a smidgen of money to spend, probably enough for 3 or 4 players. We know what we need. We need a left winger. We could do with a central midfielder. We could probably do with another centre-back because we've only really got 2. And then, you know me, every summer I'm going to bring in a striker. And we've got 18 of them already. Just having a quick look at the development centre. On the topic of strikers, we've got this guy, Luis Gomez, who's 3-star current ability. He's better than Stephen Stone, apparently. I've got to bring some of these boys up, haven't I? We've got 2.5-star players in here. We've got 2-star players in here. We could probably go all summer not signing anyone and just bring this lot up. Whoops. Right, we're starting things as we mean to go on. Keith Llewellyn is in, and he's better than anyone else that we've got at the club in his position. He's a centre-back who can also play left-back. He's the best we've got in either of those roles. Better than Beknazarov and Brook at centre-back. As good as Solis, but with better potential at left-back. He's previously been at Rhode Island in the Central Premier League. I don't know why he's been stuck down there playing at that low level when he's as good as he is, but he is in. He's 6'4", but heading of 5. It doesn't matter. He's got a jumping reach of 16. He doesn't need to be able to head. The ball's just going to hit him. Remember, this is still deep in non-league. Those attributes are okay. But he's in, and more of that, please. I have to give all credit to my director of football for this one. You might have seen in the last clip that he made an offer for somebody. Usually the offers he makes are for rubbish players that I don't want to use. But this one actually slots straight in. Ben Ryan, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, central midfielder. He's as good as Gomez. They're both better than Paulus. He's another one who's been at Rhode Island. I mean, what is going on with Rhode Island? They've finished second in the Central Premier League, but why have they been down there so long when they've had these players that are good? We've taken 2 of them now. We're just going to walk straight into our first team. It doesn't make any sense unless our scouts and coaches are judging them wrong. Maybe. But yeah, big question marks over what's been going on at Rhode Island because these guys have been there for years and we're now nicking them. It's the new policy. We have a striker, boys and girls. Carlos Palomares is a 29-year-old Argentinian striker. He's a natural poacher, which leaves me with an interesting decision for next season because Jorge Hernandez is a natural target man who's been playing as a poacher for years. But now we have a natural poacher to play alongside him. I mean, he's got 15 career goals at 29 years old in nearly 200 games. So I figure we mess things up and move Jorge Hernandez out to target man and focus everything on this guy because he must be the answer, surely. 3.5-star current ability. He's the best striker in the squad, according to star rating. I'm not necessarily committing to moving Hernandez out to target man, but it is interesting. And we've got a guy coming in on trial as well. The one thing we haven't found so far is a left winger. So we might be going with Sam Williams again. Ooh. Yeah, he's 34. But, ooh, mind you, we've got Solis. Do we need another left back who's 34 years old and no better than what we've already got? We probably don't. We'll probably give that one a miss. Well, it looks like we're going to be losing Paulus. We've had a £32,000 offer accepted by Goran Pavlov. It's also got league appearances. It's got a percentage of next sell on. To be honest, I don't think I'd have turned it down either, to be honest. He's been in for a couple of years, never been that spectacular. We've just signed Ben Ryan, who's taken his spot in the team. Gustavo Gomez has signed on loan for another year. So Paulus was going to be a reserve. For us to get that kind of money for a reserve player, that's big money for us. So Paulus is probably going to be on his way for a new record transfer. Well, looks like Paulus wants to stay after all. So that was unexpected. It has gone past the 1st of July, which means we have released players and we've got a bunch of trialists in at the moment. The most significant released player is Sam Williams. Sam Williams is gone. So we now have to find a left winger. We've made this mistake again. We've let him go. I mean, he's been here 6 years, over 250 games for the club, never averaged more than 6.8. But he's been with us since the Atlantic National League. It's been a long time for Sam Williams. He has now moved on. We need to sign a left winger. Price Jr. has also left the club. Briones has left the club. There's probably close to 600-700 appearances that have just left us on free transfers this summer, but it has freed up a little bit of money to play with. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot bit. So fingers crossed we can bring in some good players. We've got some decent trialists in. We've got a few options for the left wing. We've got some youngsters in. Pedro Arriaga, still only 19. Unbelievable that he's only 19 years old. I know he lost his place last year, but for someone who's still only 19 with 5-star potential, if we can get him on a cheapo contract, that's exactly what we're going to do. And yeah, there's some very good options here. If we can get these two guys, then I think we've got a good chance this season. And we have now ticked over to being in the new league as well. So it's the US National League Division 1. At the moment, we're considered 5th favourites for promotion, which I think is very generous. We've got nobody in the media Dream 11, but clearly there's, I guess, reputation-wise, they think a bit of us. Carolina, that feels like a team that we've spent a lot of time with over the years. They're favourites for promotion. In fact, they were the team that finished second. No, they weren't. Yes. What? National League. Yeah, they finished second behind us last year in Division 2, and they're favourites, odds-on favourites to go up as champions. Maybe there's not much difference between these two leagues, which is going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting. Right, we have signed just about everybody we wanted to sign, he says, just as one person who was trying to sign has agreed to go elsewhere. He would have been good, a nice fullback. But no, couldn't get him. He's gone to Swope Park. But everyone else we wanted is in. So I think we start... Yeah, I don't think you met any of these. Jeffrey Bradbury is a new backup goalkeeper for us. 2.5-star. Current ability, 5-star potential ability. Better than Izaguirre. In fact, we can probably get rid of Izaguirre now. Who's got a contract for another year. What was I thinking, giving him such a long contract? But we've got a backup keeper. Obviously, he's spent time in the great city of Seacoast United, both with the Phantoms and the Mariners, as all of our former players seem to pass through there at some point. We should definitely get 4 or 5 of the Seacoast United clubs in as feeder clubs at some point. But on to the actual first teamers who are going to make a difference. Denzel Fordyce is a 29-year-old Guyanese striker/winger. We've obviously brought him in to play on this left-hand side. He's a natural left footer. So he's going to be playing on that left wing, can provide some competition in other areas. Imagine this scenario, boys and girls. Huyan gets injured and Jorge Hernandez can play up front because Denzel Fordyce can go over there and play on that wing. So he's a 3.5-star current ability player. At 29, he's not likely to get any better. Never played in the US before. Previously done his tour of the Caribbean. Guyana's in the Caribbean, isn't it? So he's played in Guyana. He's played in Barbados, gone back to Guyana. Few different clubs there. He's never really scored a lot of goals, but he's going to come in as a winger, so we don't need to worry about his goal-scoring pedigree. Our other left winger that we've brought in, which means Fordyce would have the option to go over to the right wing, because Marcus Salandi Defoe is our backup left winger. He's a 32-year-old American, 3-star current ability, so not as good as Fordyce, but we've now got 2 left wingers. It's luxury. He's done a bit of a world tour as well. Started out in Denmark, came to play for Des Moines in the USA, but then went back to Denmark, where he has just done basically a Danish tour. He's played in the last, 8 years, 6 different Danish clubs, where he just does a year at each of them, gradually working his way down the pyramid. Started in the first division, most recently been in the third division and didn't get a game. Perfect time for him to come in and sign for us, having left Jammerbutt in the summer. Feel like that might be a team that I have to manage at some point. And then we've got a couple of fringe players. Pedro Arriaga, we know all about. He's signed a permanent deal with us. And Gustavo Valadez is another backup right winger for us. 1.5-star current ability, not likely to be in the team anytime soon, but with 5-star potential. Who knows? And of course, he's played for Boston and one of the Seacoast United teams because he's a Bourne player. Of course, he's going to have played for those teams at some point in his past. We're still at the point where geographically, if they're not from this area, then they ain't coming to us. So everybody's played for Boston or Seacoast United or Mass United because they're the only players who'll come here. One other thing that I have looked at that we didn't get anywhere with again is trying to bring anybody in on loan from Bourne Town. As you can see, Bourne Town in a bit of a decline in the Premier League. They did stay competitive as a Champions League level club for a few years after the save started, but now we're kind of 6, 7, 8 years in, and they're starting to slowly drift down. A 5th place finish, followed by an 8th place finish. The dream scenario of us ending this save, going back to Bourne and bringing them back to life is still potentially there. I would love to win the US Premier League, Bourne find themselves down in the Championship or something, and we have to go back for a few seasons to finish things off and return Bourne to former glories. But nobody from here wants to come on loan to us. It looks like they've actually let Cernajacki go. So where has Cernajacki gone? That is a very important question. Or has he retired? Because we are at that point now where at the age Cernajacki was at, it could just be that he's retired. And that would be devastating. Mitar Cernajacki, no, he's at Arsenal. At 34 years old. So, in fact, he's just signed for Arsenal. Just this summer, gone to Arsenal for 4.8 million. Seems like such a waste of such a talent. But why didn't I see that deal on there? Because it was right at the end of that one. That's why. Fair enough. But yeah, none of this lot will come to us. It's not that the players won't come. It's that the club won't let me have them. So every time I try and loan anybody, I'm fascinated by people saying they were able to get players from Bourne in the first season, because I've never been able to, because I always get this. Would prefer them to play with higher quality players. And that's the same for every player at the club who could potentially come in on loan. So we're not going to get any loans in from Bourne Town. This is what our squad depth looks like. With the new boys in, it's actually looking like a pretty solid squad. We've got good options at the back. It would be nice to bring in another right back. If we'd have brought that other guy in, letting Wayhu out on loan would have made a little bit more sense. We might still need a right back. Vasquez is probably the best player at the club star rating, him and Fordyce and Huyan. Weirdly, Jorge Hernandez now has a better star rating on the wing than he does up front. So maybe he was a winger after all. So we're going to have some competition in wide areas this year. Central midfield, Gomez, Ryan, Paulus still here. Antonio still here. Townrow still knocking around as a backup in both positions. And then we've got Hernandez, Stone, Rocha all still here with new boy Palomares and Fordyce who can play up there as well if need be. So it's a strong squad and we've still got plenty of money to throw around if we feel like we need to. But I'm not desperate to add to this squad. I think I can probably cope with starting the season like this and seeing how we are. We've not got any pressure to get promoted this year, although it looks like we're now predicting a 4th place finish, so there could be a promotion on the cards. How many teams go up? 2 automatic, and then it's the big fancy playoffs. There might be a back-to-back promotion coming this season, folks. If we can find an absolute superstar, like a real top-tier, old man Atencio level central midfielder, that could be the real difference maker for us. See, there's a few players who are popping up on here, but they're not scouted enough for me to know if I want them. So at 25% scouting, he might be better than Gomez, but he might not be good enough for the full squad. So they need more scouting. And that's the case with a lot of the players on here now. We've kind of signed everyone who we've got fully scouted. And now we're just waiting for the scouting to catch up with everybody else. So that might be it for the summer. When does the season start? It's the 10th of July now. Season starts on the 31st. Someone special has got to turn up in the next 3 weeks or so for us to add to this squad before the season starts. Of course, the registration window goes to the end of August, so there's still time to bring people in. And as we've done in recent years, some of our best signings are actually players who come in January. If we have a look at who we brought in mid-season this season just gone, Vasquez, Hansen, Antonio, all coming in mid-season. If we go back to the season before, Beck Nazarov and Izaguirre were both mid-season signings. And I think even if we go way back when, Jorge Hernandez came in December as well. So sometimes it takes a little while for the scouting to adjust to the league that we're in, and you get to October, November time and you get some real top players show up. So I'm not against having some money to spend when that comes as well. Right, we brought in a few loans, 3 loans specifically from the Maryland Bobcats, because they're the only team who will loan us players, apparently. One of them is the returning Jared Ankiel. If you remember, he was here a couple of years ago. He was actually recalled mid-season, and it caused all sorts of problems when he was recalled because he'd been a key player playing for us at left back as a 17-year-old. And then last year he was at El Paso and was a key part of the El Paso team that did so well and then fell off towards the end. Well, he seems to have continued to get better. At 19 years old, he's now considered, star rating wise, better than any other centre back we've got at the club. So it's not cost us anything to bring him in. He's come back in on a season-long loan on 0 pennies again, and this time we'll probably use him as a centre back. 6'5" Jared Ankiel. We've got Arriaga back as well. We could reunite our centre backs as if it's 2025 again. It's going to be very exciting. And then we've got 2 that are rubbish. Eric Webb is a goalkeeper who's not any good, and Taylor Diaz is a left back who's not any good. I mean, I say they're not any good. They're fine to be sort of fringe players for us, but aren't going to be really getting anywhere near that first team picture. The only other piece of transfer business is Matsuoka, our backup goalkeeper, has now completed the set of the local teams. He's done Seacoast United, he's done Mass United, he's done Bourne, and now he's done Boston. His set is complete. Congratulations to Kazutoshi Matsuoka for completing the northeast sort of Massachusetts area collection of semi-professional football clubs. Big thumbs up to him. And that, boys and girls, brings us to the end of the summer. No more business. I think we're still 4th favourites for the league this year. We're back down to 5th favourites. Charlotte. Carolina's still favourites to win, though. And to be fair, as long as Carolina are favourites for promotion, I've got to feel like we're in with a chance as well. I don't know the calibre of player they've brought in. But Chad Hughes, let's have a look. Oh, okay, fair enough. 5-star. Oh, I see. Alrighty then. Well, oh yes, well, okay. Hey, he's only 3-star. Loser Leonardo, that's probably what they call him. I think we've got a decent chance, and hopefully we'll show that in tomorrow's episode when we will kick things off with games against Chicago Magic and Crossfire Redmond. I love American sports team names. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.